Welcome everybody to the second Eagle Q&A. This is your opportunity to ask questions about financial aid, registration, student services, degree programs, certificate programs, anything at all that has to do with CTC that has you a little bit confused and you're not 100% sure on who to talk to, who to go see, what to do. We've got the answers for you today. So we're going to open things up. And one thing that we do ask is if when we're talking about a particular subject like financial aid, for instance, or classrooms, we'll keep our questions geared toward that subject, and then we'll move on to the next subject and get your questions then. And then if we haven't covered anything that you have questions on, then we'll open the floor up for questions in a general form, that kind of thing. That way we don't lose questions, we don't get out of sync, and we don't lose our train of thought, and that way we keep everything pretty much every in order here that we need to be. And that again, we make sure that we cover all the topics and get your specific questions answered and we don't miss anything. All right. So again, this is very interactive. Feel free to type in your questions in the chat. Also, if you have a microphone, you're welcome to ask the questions whenever there's a pause from the presenter and jump on in there. But again, and on Facebook, please type your questions in the comments. We have Mariceli Vargas here to monitor those questions. And as we're mentioning names, let me just quickly identify. Right below Mariceli is Eva Hutchins from our admissions office. And then next to her is Angela Reese, a professor in the business department. And below her is Julie Starkey from our student services. So again, we're waiting on Pearl Creviston from financial aid. So we're going to get some money questions answered for you. So, but let's go ahead and start with Dr. Reese. Angela won't, oh no, I said we'll start with Eva. I'm sorry. Let's talk about Eva since registration for summer is just around the corner. As a matter of fact, it opens April 11th. So if there's questions about registration, admissions, or what to do to get started, we'll go ahead and Eva just kind of give us a brief summary of the admissions, where to find you online, and about summer registration and where to find the classes and that kind of thing. And then hopefully the questions will start rolling.
Sounds like a plan. All right. Well, I am Eva Hutchins. I'm the Associate Dean of Enrollment Services over here. So what that means is I am over the advising offices. So if you've already applied for admission, your next step is to work with advising. We definitely want you to work with us and get going on registering for classes. So as Bruce mentioned, we do have our summer registration opens April 11th. Our summer term dates are from May through July, and then fall starts in August. So actually, speaking of fall, registration for that opens in May, and so a lot of that summer and fall registration can be taking place at the same time. So if you have any confusion or questions about that because of like what you're looking at schedule wise, definitely get in contact with your advising office, because they can help you sort all that out if it's confusing to you with the dates and everything of what you're looking at. So definitely, talk to that subject matter expert so that you have that information set and ready to go. Is it all right if I share my screen, Bruce?
Please do. Please do.
Okay. And actually, let me change the website real quick. Okay. Now I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So I am sharing, hopefully here in a moment, it's coming up. Are you seeing, oh gosh, am I sharing the wrong screen? Are you seeing the CTC webpage?
We're seeing the notice for this WebEx.
Okay. Yeah, okay. How about now?
Yes.
Okay. So, so confusing. I have multiple tabs open, so I thought I was sharing the right one. Okay. Well, so on the CTC homepage, ctcd.edu, I just wanted to show everybody how you find the advising office. So if you hover over students, you'll see this tab open up, and you'll see all these different options. If you're a prospective or current student, you can still go here under current. It doesn't matter to find us. Click under more resources, and then click on advising. So this is where all of the contact information for your advising offices live. As you can see, we do have it listed based on what type of student you are, whether you're local or out of state or online, not located here. We also have our K Advising Center, which is students enrolled in industrial and office technology programs, as well as our international students. So those are students who are here attending from another country. So depending on which one of those meets you, then you would click on that to find out more information about how to reach us. We also have chats available so that we can communicate with you from your mobile device, from your computer, however the case may be, and definitely see all of that information. So I'll just do a real quick overview here for academic advising local, like my mouse will work. So as you can see, all of our information for our hours, how to reach us is all listed. You can schedule appointments, which are available either in person or virtual through this link here. You can email us, you can call us, you can chat with us. Those are all the ways you can reach us. So again, with the registration for summer starting off, I did want to show everybody the schedule information. So under academics and go under class schedules, you can see that our summer 22 enrollment guide is available. So you can see what's being offered and registration type information that is listed there. I do see some chats have come through. I'm going to take a quick break so I can look at that. And Bruce, you can tell me if there's something I need to ask or answer.
Okay. Well, the one chat that came through was about sonography. When can register for that program? And we typed back, sonography is through continuing ed. The program starts June 2nd, so you can register now by contacting continuing ed at 254-526-1586. And they will be glad to give you the information you need and sign you up for the class.
Yes, and that's a great, I'm glad I paused for that. That's a great, so continuing education courses are for workforce or technical training, job training. They're not for college credit. So that when you're looking at some of the programs that we offer, you may have questions about if it falls under that continuing ed or the academic side. So definitely reach out to your advisor if you're looking at something specific. It's after this and you're not sure. Definitely reach out to your advising office for that kind of information.
Yeah, and while we got a second, Eva, thank you. Continuing ed programs are, like you said, are geared to get you in the workforce. They offer you an opportunity to get certified in this particular field, especially these healthcare programs like phlebotomy, sonography, EKG technician, those kind of things. So yeah, they do not give you college credit, but they will get you certified to the workplace so you become employable for that particular job. So again, that's a great option that a lot of people are looking to get into the job market right away. So that's a great step. Sorry, Eva, didn't want to interrupt. So.
Oh, no, you're good. That's you said it great. And so when it comes to registration for the academic side, for your academic courses in your degree program, you can always come here and look at that information for our calendar. You can see lots of different things. You can see the spring still is out there, of course. And then, of course, you can see like if you're currently a student, you can see the final exam schedule and then our overall academic calendar for the upcoming years. And then, of course, you can see the continuing ed tab is listed, et cetera, and all of those. Also, I like this page because it describes all of our class methods, like the way we're offering classes now, because that's a big question students have often. You know, how do you offer classes? What, and then, of course, delves into what works best for them, et cetera. So I just want to do a brief overview of some of these so you'll be familiar. And then I'm going to show you a brief example of actually looking for a class and like what you would be looking for to schedule. So on campus, of course, so you would be coming into the classroom, you would be here face to face, and you would, based on the schedule and time that you picked, would be coming in for those. You might, of course, be doing things outside of the classroom, like studying and completing assignments, but you do have that commitment to a time and a date each week to come to class. Your blended options here are going to be a hybrid of an online and a classroom face-to-face course. So those are going to be still a commitment to a day and a time to come to campus, but it won't be as long. So you might not be, instead of being here 2 days a week, you might only be here 1 day a week in a certain time frame. Then, of course, there's additional work that you will do online to complete the class requirements. Real-time virtual, or sometimes you might see them listed as synchronous, are your classes that are a little bit different than the other two mentioned, but they do commit you to a date and time, but you don't come to campus. So you have a commitment to maybe come to class Monday, Wednesdays from 10 to whatever time frame, but you're doing it from home. You're logging in through a link to have access to that instructor and the lecture material. Those do encourage you to use your webcam. They do want to see your face in those. So you will want to make sure you have a webcam for that. Your online or online self-paced, those are a very popular option for someone who maybe doesn't have the flexibility in their schedule to come to campus at a certain time. but you can complete work 100% online. So to find these classes and register for them, a lot of times new students are coming in, they're like, okay, y'all know all the information, but I'm not familiar as well versed in that process. So I do want to show you what that looks like. But online and self-paced, 100% online, no commitment to coming to campus at a certain time, no commitment to logging in at a certain time. Follow the instructions in the class for when your assignments are due, turn in your work, and hopefully you'll be good. As you can see, it says finish all scheduled assignments online. So your instructor will be telling you when a particular assignment is due. So when we go look at the course sections page, when I switch over to there, you can then, this is, you can view and find what's out there without logging into your student account using this. So that's what I'm going to use for now. If this is what it would look like if you were logged into your student account and you were in the student registration areas. So the view looks the same. I'm just not logged in right now as a student. So I'm going to search for a history class. Let's just search for history 1301. All right. So once I put in the class information, there's a little bit more work that needs to be done. I don't know if other folks feel this way, but sometimes I think students are scared of filtering. I don't know if it's that you're not sure which one to choose, but filters are your friends. So don't be scared of filters. If you don't filter, you're going to see everything that's out there. And we are a worldwide campus. We have classes in lots of different locations across the globe. So if you know that you need a class online, you want to just search for online classes. If you know you need a class at Fort Hood, you might want to just look at Fort Hood. Or you might have a couple of different things you want to look at. You can use more than one filter. And then that way you can see what are my options between the Fort Hood and the Central Campus first as far as times. So that flexibility of filtering there, don't be scared of it. Definitely use it. At least choose one location. So I'm going to I'll choose distance learning. And then I want it to be summer. So in the term, I want it to be summer. Once I do that, then it's narrowed everything down for me. When I look at this list, it won't have classes that are in California or Europe or Lampasas, all those different places. It will just have online. When you're looking at your classes, the biggest thing you want to look at is how many seats, what time am I committing to, and what type of class it is. So as you can see, this for times only lists the date. It doesn't have a specific time because I filtered it by distance learning over here. And I don't, distance learning do not have a commitment to coming into the classroom at a time of the day. So your class, this particular class is running from May 16th to July 8th. And it's being taught 100% online. You can see here under the locations, and it is self-paced. And then of course you can see the instructor. Once you pick the class that you want, the next step is to add it to your schedule. At that point, you've planned the course. You would then need to go back to your registration page and actually hit the register button. But planning takes care of finding all of your classes through that process. Let me show you a classroom course. So I'm going to deselect distance learning and I'm going to choose Central Campus. This way you can see what it looks like when you're planning a class that does have a time commitment. So here, again, you want to focus here on the time and the location so you know you're looking at what works for you. So this particular class is running from May 31st to July 1st. It is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So it's 4 days a week. And it's for 2 hours a day, 10:15 to 12:15. And you can see here, it gives you that it's at Central Campus. It gives you a building number and it gives you a room number. And then you can see your instructor. So that's the difference between an online and a classroom. And I think it's important for you guys to see that. This location information under classroom is really important. This class is telling you it is lecture, so it's 100% in the classroom. This is that blended option that I talked about. So you are coming to class 1 day a week, but you do have an online commitment because it says online blended. So there will be more work online than a regular classroom class would have. But you don't have to come to campus for as many days. It's 1 day a week on Saturdays. So that's the information for class sections. Any questions have come in or anything like that since I've?
We haven't seen anything in the chat yet. Maricel, anything on Facebook? And she's shaking her head. So no questions yet. So we're good.
All right. Well, let me go back to our homepage and just do another look here at our advising locations, just in case there's anybody who's joined since I started. And then is there anything else, Bruce, that I did not cover that you would like us to see?
I think we're good as far as registration information goes, and I appreciate you covering the live chat too. And we have the chat bot now also, that feature down there at the bottom, which will get you, enable you to type in questions and get you to the right place as well. That's a new feature that was just recently added to our website.
Yeah,
So,
and since you mentioned it and I'm on my page, it's good to go over this. So this you can ask the bot a question. So like if you want to ask something, if it's after hours, if the bot can answer and can find the answer to your question, we'll send you to a link on our webpage. When our hours are available, any office that is using chat will have their hours posted. And as you can see, I have 2 different advising offices that are available, but they're at different times. So for Texas students or local students, our live help hours are traditional CTC hours, Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 5:30, Friday, 7:30 to 11:30. So as you can see, on Fridays, it's a shortened day. But we also have out-of-state or online students, and any student can utilize this, of course, and they're available at different times because their office is opened a bit extended. So they're Monday, Friday, 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. So if you're outside of any of these windows of hours or on the weekends, that chat, that here is a great option. You can probably still get your questions answered. If it's more specific to you specifically and your information, as like say you had a degree plan question, like how many classes do I have left in my degree? You would need to ask your advisor that question. Any of our information here, you can come in and if it's after hours, get our email, send us an email, and we'll get to it first thing when we return to the office if it's after hours. So, but if you are at home and you're on your device and you want to ask that question and it's at a time when we're signed in and we're here on campus, then you can always utilize that live chat to talk to an actual person and not the bot. So hopefully that helps explain
yeah,
that.
great. One question, Eagles on Call, will that help reach just central campus students, or is that worldwide?
Yes, all of them. Whoever you are, you do not have to be out of state to utilize them. If you're here in Killeen and it's after our hours and you want to talk to an advisor, they are available. Like I said, they're available 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. So yes, they just do not have the difference. The difference for them is they don't have advising appointments in person. They work out of a call center, so they don't have that capability of. So if you're wanting to work with an advisor and make an appointment to schedule face-to-face, that would be through our local students tab for academic advising. But if you are like I said, if it's 8 o'clock at night and you're wanting to ask somebody like how many classes do I have left in my degree plan and you need to know the answer, then Eagles on Call, it doesn't matter where you are, reach out to Eagles on Call. They're great.
Okay, can somebody in Fort Riley, Kansas, Fort Bragg, Fort Stewart, can they access Eagles on Call, and how would that work?
Yes, same for them.
So Eagles on Call is for
there
any.
with those other, those extended hours, because we've got some students in different time zones throughout the world. So that's why coming in at 6 a.m. allows students that are at a different time zone and staying until 11, allows that accessibility while you're still awake. If you're not necessarily in the Central Standard Time Zone.
Okay, and so then basically, so if somebody just needs to check their time zone, if they're in a Fort Riley or Fort Bragg situation or somewhere else, and check the Central Time to make sure that they're calling Central Time so they get the right hours and they can access Eagles on Call that way. And what exactly can they get from Eagles on Call? What kind of service does Eagles on Call provide them?
All advising services about their degree plan, course scheduling, registration. Like some students, like say you had a block on your account and you can't figure out exactly where you're supposed to go. It depending on the block, if you were on hold through another office, we might only be able to give you the information of who you need to reach out to. but they would be able to give you that. If it's something they can help you with, they'll let you know. So it kind of gets a little bit, sometimes students are using them as a means of finding out who they need to contact. And that, I think that's a great service, because sometimes it's like, I know I need to reach somebody, I'm not sure. If you're not sure who you need to reach, check with Eagles on Call. If they can help you, they will. If they can't help you, if they can't fix the issue, they will know which office can. And it's rare that they don't know which office can help fix the problem. If they don't know, they will research until they find out, and then they'll tell you. So they will definitely find the solution for who can help you with whatever's going on. So a lot of times it's that, well, I've got this, issue that came up. I've never ran into this as a college student before. I don't know who to go to. You reach out to Eagles on Call, and they help you find the right person.
Right.
Does that help?
Yeah, that's very helpful, because again, we've had some questions from Fort Riley or whoever, and they weren't sure who to reach, and especially if they can utilize Eagles on Call, that kind of thing. So
Sure.
we're glad that they're able to do
Yeah.
that. So
Now, if you're at Fort Riley and you're having very specific questions about their schedule and their classes, we encourage you to go to the Fort Riley staff who are available, just not to continue using the same one. There's many, many different site locations when it's specific to their site. But if you're work, like I said, and even if it's after hours and you can't get to them, call us. We'll make sure we get you the information you need and the timeframes for that location.
great, thank you. All right, Eva, we appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Of
And so
course.
again,
And then
summer
go ahead.
registration is just around the corner, starting April 11th. So utilize the tools and the filters on Eagle Self-Service that Eva showed you to kind of narrow down your class choices, and so it'll fit your schedule. And there are numerous opportunities to work around your schedule through the different class delivery systems. So now that we know how to register, we got to figure out how to pay for classes. So, and here to help us with that, Pearl Creviston from our financial aid office will kind of give us an update on the financial aid situation, emergency aid grants available, and all that fun money talk. Thank you, Pearl. You're muted, Pearl.
I'm muted, I'm sorry.
There we go.
We still have ARP money. So right
Yay.
now we have money awarding for spring still, and possibly for summer as well. So as long as the money lasts, we'll be giving this money away, and it has helped an awful lot of students so far this year. So even if you don't qualify for the Pell Grant for whatever reason, some students have reached max time frame, some students are on suspension or have other reasons why they no longer qualify at this time, you can still qualify and register and use your ARP money. So make sure you understand that has nothing to do with your Title IV eligibility. So that's really good news for a lot of students. The other big news is next week we will start processing your 22-23 FAFSA applications for the new year. So we'll be getting an awful lot of applications, and you'll have information coming from us for the new year. I've already had a phone call from a student who got one today, and she was a lot confused because she said, I already did my FAFSA for 21-22. Why am I getting an email now about doing my FAFSA completion when I've already completed it? It's for 22-23. So we've sent some of those out already, testing some of the issues to make sure it's all working well. But next week we anticipate sending out several thousand notifications. So you all look out for those and be prepared to turn in any documentation we're asking for. And don't wait. I had a very interesting call this week from a student who said, I really like to wait until August and come down there right before classes start and get everything done. I want to do my admissions. I want to do my financial aid because I live in Dallas. I don't want to have to come too far. And so I told him about Eagles on Call, who could help him now. I told him, do not wait on your FAFSA because then I might not be able to give you any money. So he was very surprised. He said, well, I just thought I could come down in one day and get everything done at once. And it does not work that way. Your FAFSA can take several weeks to process depending on the situation, or it may process within a few days. But either way, you need to talk to financial aid and have the information so that you know what you have so that you can register. So a lot of students are waiting, and you don't want to do that. There's a reason the Department of Ed opened up that FAFSA process starting last October for this next fall already, and it's to get everybody done, ready, and able to register by August. So ARP grants, we have a couple of other grants. There's a reskilling grant that's available for students who have been out of school possibly for a little while and want to come back and want to finish a degree. You can apply for those on the CTC website. And then we have a True Grant, which is helping with some of our continuing education programs that have been approved for this grant. And that is a phenomenal grant, and a lot of students are receiving the awards for up to $2,500 for that to pay for their tuition. So those programs can be a little costly, and the True Grant will definitely help them pay for those. So there are some pretty strict guidelines as to who can use those. So if you're over in the continuing education programs, you want to talk to them and find out if you would be eligible for that. So lots of money options, and you just need to find out what you have as soon as possible. So to clarify a little bit about where we're at in the year right now, we are still in the middle of what we call the 21-22 FAFSA aid year, and this will take you through summer. So if you have summer financial aid awarded already, you should be fine to register. Keep in mind your Pell Grant is not as large in the summer as it is in fall and spring because you're getting a portion for 10 weeks only versus a 16-week term. So pay attention to the amounts and make sure that it's going to cover the cost of your education for the summer classes. For financial aid, if you are full-time student in fall and spring and you used all your financial aid, you can still get what we call year-round Pell for summer. So some students aren't aware of that, and I just want to make you aware that it's on your award notice. We automatically awarded those if you're eligible for that. So it's summer. If the only thing you do separately is apply for a student loan, you'll want to let the student loan officer know that you will be asking for a summer loan specifically. So those are not automatic in the summer. So we don't do as many loans in the summer, therefore we don't have that as an automated process. And you do have to let us know. There is a summer letter of intent that will be made available in the next few weeks. You'll see that on eForms.
Okay, great.
Trying to think if there's
Question.
anything.
For those of you, for those students who are taking the summer off, let's say that for whatever reason, and like you mentioned, the student Dallas will come down the fall semester right before in August and get everything done. So if somebody's taking the summer semester off, what do they need to do FAFSA-wise or otherwise to get geared up for the fall semester?
They want to do the new FAFSA for 22-23, and that is going to require your 2020 tax return information. So you should be able to go ahead and do that at any time right now. That's the reason Department of Ed started using 2 years prior tax information, was to allow students to qualify and get their aid completed much sooner than they could in the past. So you're not waiting to file this year's taxes. That has nothing to do with it. It's always 2 years prior. So for the 22-23 FAFSA, you want to make sure you're using 2020 tax information and get those done as soon as possible.
Okay, again, don't wait till the last minute. Get
Absolutely
it in now,
not.
get it done now as quickly as you can. So, good thing. Thank you, Pearl. We appreciate it. And again, the grant money, the ARP money is available
Yes.
right now. So take advantage of that. And that, depending upon the number of credit hours you take, you can get up to $2,000. That will pay for your tuition, books, fees. That'll buy you a whole bunch of tacos. It will buy you whatever you need to get through the semester. And that's free money for you. So take advantage of free money and use it to further your education. So and complete that certificate, complete that degree. You know, so it's not every day you get the opportunity to get paid to go to school. So
Right.
again, take advantage of it. So
and keep in mind on that application itself, there's a check block. If you want to use that money to pay for charges and books, you have to check that block. Otherwise, it will be sent to you as a balance, but not until about 30 days after classes start. So that's where a lot of students have failed to realize that they didn't ask for it. If that happened to you, all you have to do is send an email to the business office and they will use those funds, but they have to have written permission from you via email.
Great. That's a good point. That's a lot of times people don't understand, when am I going to get that money? How do I get that money? And that kind of thing. So great.
One of the other unique things that I've noticed and I've had come up a few times with students who did not receive financial aid Title IV from a FAFSA, and the only aid that they had was ARP. When they tried to use that money at the bookstore online, it was sometimes rejecting those. And it's because they have to tell the bookstore specifically that they're using ARP grant. That way they know the funds are there and can look that up. Otherwise, the FAFSA funds show on a student account where the ARP may not. So the bookstore has to be told that you're using ARP when you're trying to designate purchasing books with that money.
That's a great point. Thank you for sharing that one, because a lot of students probably didn't realize that. So good point. Any last nuggets of wisdom?
Not at this time. If I get any questions in the chat or on Facebook, I'll be happy to answer them. I'll still be here. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Pearl. We appreciate it. Okay, so now we've got the registration and admission part done. Evan, do you have a question or?
I do, because I had a student situation, Pearl, and I wanted to run it by you. So a few weeks ago, a student, they weren't going to be able to start in March. And so we were talking about all of our online start dates. And we, of course, there's April out there right now.
Right.
And they have a financial aid award for the spring, but we were looking at April and it started in April, but it ended in June. So I was explaining that to the student. I thought it might be a good idea to explain that here.
Right. Financial aid has term-driven dates in which you have to make sure your classes start and end within each of those term periods. So for instance, for spring, your classes had to have started January 1 or later, and they have to end by May 15th. That is the cutoff date for the spring term to use Title IV financial aid. Again, that's separate from ARP, so your classes may overlap and you could still get ARP funding, but just make sure that if you're trying to use Pell Grant for each term, that you want to look at our term dates. We have those posted on our website. We put that on all of our emails. The dates are one of the most important things we put out there. If you register for a class and it overlaps the term, you're going to get a little message pop up and it tells you this class may not be eligible for Title IV. That tells you as a student, oh, I can't use my Pell Grant or my student loans or SEOG grant for this. So a lot of students forget that's what that aid is. It's called Title IV. And it's from Department of Education. So if you get a message like that, that means the class you're taking may be required for your degree plan, but we're still not going to cover it because it overlaps the term. Right. So just to give you the summer dates as well, for summer, your classes have to start as of May 16th and end by August 14th. So make sure you're paying attention to that as well. Because for your summer, you don't want to overlap into the fall, and then your fall classes start, and you're still taking your summer classes and trying to use Pell for everything, and it may not work. So make sure you check those dates. If you need to look at them again, go to our FAFSA financial aid. Our financial aid website posts those dates on the main page because they're very important. Thank you.
No, that's great. Great question. And thank you, Pearl. See, a lot of students don't know those little nuances about term dates and those kind of things. So it's great to share that. So thank you for bringing that up. We appreciate it, Evan. Thanks for the explanation there. One question that did pop up in the chat, and I saw Evan answer it, but I want you to answer it for everybody if you don't mind.
Okay.
Once a transferring transcript is received by CTC, how long does it take to get reviewed?
The incoming transcripts department receives transcripts on a daily basis, and what a lot of students don't realize is the volume of that. And so it can take 8 weeks or longer for a transcript to be reviewed once it's here. If you need a transcript review, say you took accounting 2301 at another college and you need to take accounting 2302 at CTC, please contact your advising office on those pages I showed you and ask us for that transcript review for your prerequisite. So that way we can help you get registered. If you wait for the automatic process, you might miss out on a start date that you need. So definitely reach out if you have a situation like that going on, but turning in transcripts early, we talked about not waiting to the last minute, as with all things, this is applicable as well. If you know you're going to start in the fall and you know you've already attended another college, get all of that, get applied at CTC now, don't wait. Your application is good for 12 months. You get registered for classes, get your other transcript turned in and get that going so that review can happen. But definitely reach out to your advisor if it hasn't been reviewed yet and it's been more than eight or so weeks. Let us look into that and see what's going on. But that office, they receive so many transcripts and they have to review them in the order they receive them. So that's why that's such a long period there.
Great, thank you, Eva, appreciate it. And now that we've talked a little bit about getting admitted to CTC and the classes and registering and how to pay for those classes, well, what happens when we get into a class? One of the first things that an instructor will tell you was we utilize Blackboard to communicate with you along with our Eagle Mail. And Dr. Reese is going to share some Blackboard tips with you in kind of a summary format so you know exactly what Blackboard is and how the professors use it and how you can access it to get assignments and anything else that all the other tools that Blackboard offers. So Dr. Reese, the floor is yours.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And hello to all of our Eagles out there. So excited that you are joining us today or at a date in the future and watching a recorded version of this. So much information for you, so many great resources. I tell my students all the time, the resources are only as good as you make them. So they're here, they're there for you. We are all here to support you, but you do have to ask those questions along the way. So if something pops up and you feel overwhelmed and you feel like embarrassed to ask, I promise there's 100 other people that have the same question. We're used to getting all these questions and we are here to support you. Regardless of, if this is your first time through, second time through, or you're coming back after a 20-year break to college, we are here to support you. So as Bruce said, and as you even heard with Eva's explanation of the different types of classes that we have here at the college, she mentioned the fact that we have some on campus. We have some that are blended where they're part on campus, part online. Others that are online fully with a requirement to be live like this or written work. I mean, there's so many different options out there, but with almost every single class that we offer, we do use Blackboard, and Blackboard is basically our virtual classroom. So another thing, don't feel overwhelmed with this. You will get an email to the email that you put on file when you complete your application. They will send you information for how to get started. And one thing that people often start worrying about is, well, I've registered and I can't get into Blackboard. Well, you can't get into Blackboard because your very first time taking classes with us, you won't have access to it until the Friday before that Monday start. So, or if it's a Tuesday start, it would still be the Friday before. So you will get that email. Our wonderful distance ed department gives you step-by-step instructions in order to get in, how to do it, examples, videos, everything you need to know to get started to get into that class. And then once you're in Blackboard, you will be able to access each of your classes. So whether it is a lecture course like I personally have, and you access it to take your quizzes, submit assignments, take your tests, or if you're in one of my online classes to where everything we do is online. That basically is how you're able to see your syllabus, how you're able to speak with your instructor, see your grades, get your feedback. It's just another great resource for you, but it's only as good as you make it. So again, if you're having problems with it, you can't get in, something's wrong, maybe you have the wrong ID number written down, we can make sure to help you as long as you ask in order to get in there. With that theme of asking, a few other things that I wanted to point out when you get to that part to where you're getting ready to start those classes, make sure to reach out to your faculty and ask just whatever general questions that you might have. That syllabus, I can tell you for any class that you take though, that is going to be your roadmap to success. It's going to tell you what that specific instructor requires. And let's just say you register, what's that? Just a good reminder for us all. What's the day registration opens for summer? April
11th.
April 11th. So you get registered, you're ready for classes. You do all that April 11th, and then fast forward to May the end of May 31st, let's say you're taking May 31st classes and you go, I don't remember what I signed up for. If I'm supposed to be on campus, if it's self-paced, do I have to meet online? What am I supposed to be doing? So the great news is that when you go to Blackboard, once you're in there and look at that syllabus, it will tell you this is the start date, this is the end date. It is a class that requires you to meet on campus, or it is a class that is self-paced. And while we strongly encourage you to stay on those due dates, you don't have to. So it gives you all of that information. Another very important thing I want to point out to you, it does not matter what type of class you are taking with us. There is one thing that is going to be the same for every single one, whether it is self-paced, online, in person, whatever that is, whatever that delivery mode is, you have to be active the first week in class. If you are not active the first week in class, we, the faculty, we have to drop you. We are not allowed to allow you to remain in class. And it never fails every semester, either myself or somebody who works for me that's one of my part-time employees will say, but a student just contacted me. I just dropped them. It's been an hour. And at that point in time, once whatever that deadline is that instructor gives you, that'll be listed in your syllabus is something that we have to follow. So pay attention to that. That is definitely something that is extremely important. A few other things that I just want to point out, if Bruce, I have time. Just have a few minutes. Okay. You heard certificates and degrees from as we were going through this. And if that is a term that you're thinking, well, what's the difference? Well, typically a certificate, we have different levels of certificates, if you will. So some are just programs that you could complete in a 6-month period. Others take a full year, others a year and a half. And then the associate degree is designed to be completed in 2 years if you are full-time. Okay. And we like to say that we have stackable degrees that help you earn credits, earn those certificates in order for you to take back to your employer, hopefully, and potentially either qualify for a raise or qualify for an advanced position. So for example, in the business department, we have a supervision certificate that only has 6 classes on it. So you can take those 6 classes, go back to your employer and say, look, these are all the classes I've had. I'm ready to advance. From there, you can continue on and get a higher level certificate in business management. From there, an associate degree in business management. So it all stacks together for you. Another thing that I like to point out is that each academic department is different. We have different types of degrees and certificates that are available. We also have different types of class delivery modes. So if you're on, let's just say a general studies degree program and you were taking classes from various departments, one of which, because it's part of the core, an option for the core is Introduction to Business. And regardless of who you work for, everyone's a business, right? Every place you work is a business. So it's important to have that good foundation, in my opinion, and I'd be remiss not to mention that. But let's just say that's the only business course you take, and then everything else is in the social and behavioral sciences. You'll have to realize that those are 2 different departments. There might be different requirements, obviously different instructors, because we don't all specialize in the same thing. So again, the biggest thing to realize is pay attention to what you're taking, when those due dates are, what the syllabus says that you're required to do, who your faculty member is, ask those questions. Just looking over my notes because there's just a couple things that I really wanted to make sure to point out to you. The only thing that I believe that I haven't said just yet is, no, I said it, ask questions. That's my major takeaway today.
Say it again. Say it again.
Yeah. Ask questions, look at your emails, read the syllabus, read your announcements, answer those emails that financial aid sends you and that the business department sends you and that your faculty members send you and that Student Success and Persistence is going to send you. Was that a good segue? And
That's a great segue. But I'm going to cut in between that segue. I apologize. I wanted to kind of just reemphasize what you had mentioned between certificates and associates. So a lot of people, certificates are great to get you in the workforce. That's what they're designed for. They get you out there in the working force. If you've got a job, they help you advance in the job. The associate degrees are a little bit more specialized. They give you just a little bit more training. So again, help you climb up that employment ladder. So if you need something to get started in a job, certificate may be the answer. If you're looking for something more specialized for advancement in that job, then keep taking those certificates, as she said, and they stack and get that associate degree. And one other thing that you mentioned about the difference, every program is different, especially industrial technology programs. A majority of those are self-paced. So you can start and finish on your time. You don't have to wait for a specific start date to start a welding class or an HVAC class. You can talk to the advisor, find out what's best for you, and get the time that you're supposed to be in the lab and get the hands-on and all that. But you can start and stop that as you progress. Each one is competency-based, so you complete so many programs or projects, and you get the testing done, and then once you pass that portion of the test, you're ready to move on to the next one. So again, it's your pace, and you can start anytime that you are ready to start. So again, that's one of the advantages of the industrial tech program, is that it's self-paced, and again, you start and stop and works around your flexible schedule, your schedule, because everybody's busy with work, kids, and those kind of things, and we're trying to squeeze in a little education. So again, if industrial tech vocational programs, what you're looking for, take advantage of that self-paced option. So again, so now we'll segue. Yes, Angela, go ahead.
I was just one other thing I wanted to say. Be on the lookout for the new student orientation that will be this summer, so that you can actually, if you're worried about any one of these things, we can come back and revisit it, especially Blackboard. I do an in-depth 10 to 15 minute, this is what Blackboard is, this is what it looks like, this is where you go, this is how to use it. So if that's something that you're fearful of, make sure to come back and check that out with us this summer.
Yeah, that's a great point. And Mary Sally, do we have the new student orientation date for summer? I believe it's May 26th.
Actually, can I share my screen real quick?
Please jump in.
Because I actually wanted to do this. And I was going to ask to do it at the end, but since, Angela segued so beautifully, I want to go
Yeah,
ahead
sorry,
and do
Julie.
that. I think Julie doesn't mind me stepping in.
No,
on
I was
this
just
one.
saying because she segued so nicely to Julie, and so now we're re-segueing.
Right.
Is that a word?
So, from the CTC website, okay, why are you not working? Okay,
Did you freeze up again?
maybe.
I can share my screen if we need to.
Yeah, can you? Because I
Sure.
think my computer is overwhelmed.
Okay.
I don't know if you can take over. Can you take over?
I think I just did. So let me figure out what I'm looking at here, and okay, that's what my page is. So okay, and I'll get to the home page here, and right here's the home page. So okay, from the home page.
Okay, if you would just actually just type at so the CTC website is ctcd.edu. At the top, if you just put /NSO for new student orientation.
Okay. There we go.
And then that's going to take you to the new student orientation page, or should.
Yes.
And if you look, it has all the information there. The next summer one is going to be May 26th at 9 o'clock in the morning from 9 a.m. to about noon. And then to register, there's the link right there. And did you just click on it and it should take over? It should take you to the registration area. The other thing I wanted to mention is we have a Discord server, and if you're a new student, if you're a currently enrolled student, if you're just somebody who's interested, okay, sorry, that's the registration page there. But if you could go back really quick to the other page, Bruce.
I'm here.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at you through somewhere else.
No, you're fine.
Froze. So if you see it says join us on Discord, if you click on that, you can actually join our Discord. For those of you that don't know it, it's another social platform that we can use. A lot of it started out as a way for gamers to learn how to play. If you have a way of if you have your own Discord already, then you can just log in. If not, you can create it, and you can communicate with other students currently enrolled, or maybe some new students. We're trying to get our Discord server to be, pretty popular and kind of get the numbers up with it. So please join us and ask your questions there.
We lost you. I'm not sure what happened, but Maricela, we've lost you there. But anyway, we were talking about Discord and the new student orientation. On this new student orientation page, you can see exactly what we include. We'll talk about access to your classes. You'll hear from a panel of faculty members and what they expect from you and how you can be successful in their class. And as Dr. Reese said, there'll be an in-depth review of Blackboard and how to use that, and Eagle Mail, which is our student email address, which you will be using for the faculty members to contact you, your professors to contact you. And I'll stop sharing my screen now and bring it back. And so again, the one thing I wanted to point out, and Dr. Reese or Eva, you may know about the Eagle Mail faction of things. I know that once a student is registered in class, they don't get the Eagle Mail right away because there's like a 10-day grace period in there. If you can kind of expand upon that or whatever.
All right, so the Eagle Mail is tied to an important date, which is called the census date. A lot of students don't know what that census date is for their class. And unfortunately, there's not just a set date I can give you. Census date varies based on your term date. Your term date is when your class starts and when your class ends. So depending on the length of your class will determine what your census date is. If you are not sure what your census date is, ask questions. We've said that several times. Census date is going to be, once you're certified as attending based on that census date, a report's going to be generated and sent over to our IT department, and they're going to create and give you access to Eagle Mail. You will then have that for life. It will end in a .edu. So if you're needing to use it to say that you're a student to maybe gain access to Microsoft Office 365 or something like that, you'll be able to use it at that point. So census date of your very first class with CTC is going to be what drives your access to that student email account. I wish I could give a better estimate of when that happens. In general, for 16-week classes, that start in January and August, it's about 2 weeks into class. But that process runs and goes through the IT department, and it's 2 to 3 days after that once you're sent that information. The IT department, once they create your CTC Eagle Mail account, the one ending in .edu, they will email you and let you know how to log in, what that information is, to the email that you applied with. So that email that you applied with is super important to your information that you're getting up to that point. After that point, once you have a student email account, if the professors are emailing you based on your official email address on the roster, if financial aid is reaching out to you, it then becomes the student email account, and that's what you need to be checking. If you don't want to check a separate email and you don't want to have to bother with maintenance in 2 separate emails, make sure you log into Eagle Mail at least once and forward it to an email that you do check. And the instructions for all of that does live on our student email page, which when you're on our homepage is under our student tools.
And so again, for those students who are, go ahead, Pro.
I just wanted to reiterate the email importance. We've had quite a few students tell us that, oh, my mom and dad put their email address in when I did my admissions because they wanted to keep up with everything. Well, unfortunately, they're not always checking that email anymore. And a lot of instructors and financial aid, like we said, are trying to reach you at that email address. So definitely, if it is not your email address, you're not getting information. So please be aware of how important the email is that you put on your admissions application, because that is what's going to generate, like we said, the Eagle Mail to allow us to get in touch with you. Or for financial aid, I know we'll use the primary address, which is the email from your admissions application, always first, especially early on in the FAFSA process, because we are processing your FAFSA way before you're registering for classes, hopefully. So it's a critical email to make sure that it's yours. And also, I want to remind students to use professional emails. We get some really unusual emails that we hesitate to often reply to. So make sure, we're not in high school anymore. We don't need cute names or funny names or derogatory names. We want to make sure you're using something professional. Okay, thank you.
No, thank you, Pro. And so for students, don't think that because you don't have your Eagle Mail until the census date that you won't your professors won't be in touch with you. They'll use the email that you have on file, and then once that census date kicks in and you have your Eagle Mail, becomes official, then that will be the mode of transport of communication rather between you and your instructor. And so again, as Eva said, there's an option there. If you don't want to look at 15 different email accounts, you can set your Eagle account, and so it segues into your Hotmail account, your Gmail account, your Yahoo account, whatever. So that way you're only having to check one. So everything is funneled to that one email address. So, and the options to do that are on the Eagle Mail setup page that Eva had alluded to on our website. So, so don't think you're going to be missing out.
And I know it's so confusing. We just used a lot of terms that you guys aren't familiar with. So if it comes to a point and you're like, hey, I don't know if I'm getting these emails, I'm not sure what email account I should be checking. Dr. Reese, Pearl, all of us, we've all said, ask questions, ask any of your instructors, ask, if you're talking to financial aid, ask them. We can look you up and we can say, hey, it's already switched. This is the one it is. Ask your advisor, ask the question. We know you may not remember it, what we said about when that switch is going to occur, but if all of a sudden you're like, I was getting emails and now I'm not, let us know. We'll help you figure it out if you have.
Yeah, there you
That, and also, if you change your email, we have had so many students that we've tried emailing, and then when they finally call or their mom and dad call and they're really angry because we haven't communicated with them, they'll tell us, oh, we don't have that email anymore. We don't use that one. Well, we don't know that at CTC, and unfortunately, if it's the one you put on your admissions application, even if you changed it, unless you change it with us, we don't know that. So keeping that updated is really important, as well as your address. When we're mailing out balances, sometimes the business office has to mail a paper check. And if your address isn't correct, you're not going to get the check. And if it's not forwarded to you, it can take quite a delay to get that check reissued. So your contact information is very, very important. So make sure your name, address, phone number, email, everything is current so that when we desperately are trying to reach you, we're able to do so.
go. Right. Thank you. Maricela, are you able to vocally be back with us again, or?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, let's go ahead and follow up on your thoughts. The new student orientation page, I stopped sharing the screen and kind of talked a little bit about that. So any last thoughts on the new student orientation or Discord?
No, if anybody is able to come new student orientation, honestly, if you're just thinking about coming to CTC and kind of want to get an idea as to what's going on, please feel free to join us. It's really geared more for the incoming students. But honestly, if you want to come and see what we're all about, that is a great way of doing it. Right now in the summer, it's going to be virtual. So you can, you can come listen to what we have to say, see how you feel about college. And then if you have questions, we can help you get answers also. And it might actually make that difference if you're kind of teetering on the edge of, I don't know if I want to do this or not, or there, you have there's a question about what's going on. Please go ahead and join us. And the same thing, I don't know how far I got into it. I kept talking and my computer froze, so I apologize. But join us on Discord if you have questions. Meet other people that might be going through a similar situation with as you. Get questions answered. We are keeping track of those, and that way, if you have a question, we can help answer it. And I know I have some already faculty and staff that have registered, but if you happen to be a faculty or staff member and you are interested in participating, please go ahead and click and join Discord. Believe it or not, there's a lot of your students that are on Discord, and they know what it is, and you are welcome to find out. And if you have any questions, come see me. But yes, so I would love for everybody to come and participate, get your questions, and look at more about what you can expect as a CTC student in the future.
Great, thanks. And we'll come back to student life in just a minute with some fun things that you guys got going on. But let's go to student services with Julie Starkey and talk about some of the things that you might have questions on. Does CTC offer tutoring services? What can I find out at the library? And just some general student services opportunities that we have for students. Go ahead, Julie.
Yeah, I want to talk to the students who may be already with us. You probably are aware we've made it through midterms, and if you are struggling, keep your head up. We've got resources and we can help you. And I'm talking to you specifically. We have a ton of tutoring resources that are available for you. right here, right now. The Academic Studio is doing a learn and earn program. The more times you come into the Academic Studio, the more times you register for opportunities to win prizes that will all be given out at the end of the semester. The idea is that we want you in here right now. And we aren't the only, Academic Studio is not the only place that wants you in right now. That goes for the Advanced Math Lab. That goes for the Math Express. That goes for the computer. That goes for the library, the reading, their reading services. You name it, we all want you in right now. Not tomorrow, not the next day. At the Academic Studio, we do virtual tutoring. We also do face-to-face. You come walk in. We appreciate an appointment so that we know if that tutor is available, just so that you're aware. I mean, we will help you with everything from time management. You're struggling with how to manage your time, how to organize your notes, you're just overwhelmed. You're so far behind in your class and you don't know how to get caught back up. The Academic Studio will help you with all of those things. Just come in, have the courage to open the door, walk in, talk to us and say, I need help, and we're going to help you. And again, we do virtual. We normally do virtual during regular working hours, but we will work with students in the evenings. If you contact us and say, I don't get off work until 8 o'clock at night, I need a virtual appointment later in the evenings, we will find a tutor and make that work for you. So there's a ton of tutoring opportunities, not just at the Academic Studio. I also want you to pay attention to the library. They're writing paper review service. They will turn papers around for you within 24 hours. That includes on the weekends and on holidays. So they work really, really fast. And I know students, you have to have a ton of papers, a ton of things due coming up here in the next couple of weeks. I don't want you to get frustrated. I want you to reach out and use the resources that we have. And we can help you manage all these things that are out there, because there's so many great resources, and I want you to get through the semester successfully. So reach out to us, please. The other thing I want to mention is we do have a career fair coming up April 20th, 10 to 2 in the Anderson Center. So if you're looking for a job, whether it be for the summer or you're about to graduate and you're looking for something, please do that. Eva, I think you have a transfer fair. What's your date?
It's April 13th. It's at 1 p.m. and we're getting RSVPs from various four-year universities, some out of state, some local, some in-state, lots of different options for you, lots of different programs and ways to finish it. And oftentimes students don't realize if they attend an event such as this and they sign up for that college, sometimes it puts them in line for scholarships or discounts on the application process for a four-year. So if you're here and you're thinking about transfer, even if you just maybe in your first or second semester with CTC, it's never too early to think about the transfer process, making sure you're taking the right classes to go on to the four-year if that's your goal. So that's April 13th at the Anderson Campus Center from 1 to 3 p.m.
And I got a question.
And we will have door prizes, great ones, really good ones. But you have to come and participate.
Absolutely. There's a lot of things that are on campus. We just need you to participate and engage with us, and we're going to help you get through everything. Question came through, does the Academic Studio also offer face-to-face tutoring? Absolutely. We do virtual, we do face-to-face, we do appointments. We just want to help you. So reach out. We will get on the phone with you and talk you through an issue. So just call us. Again, I just want to also give you the career fair, April 20th, 10 to 2 in the Anderson as well. And that's where you'll have an opportunity to talk to a lot of employers and that kind of thing. And they'll give you heads up on what a resume should look like, what they're looking for, particularly if you're looking for summer employment. It's just great timing. So there's some really good events happening here at the end. Especially if you're looking at transferring or you're looking at graduation, you're looking for those things. There's some really great events coming up here at the end. So stay strong and get involved and engage with us and take advantage of all the things that we have available for you. Okay.
Right. And I just put in a link to the event. So it's a list of the links, like a calendar, and then you can just click on those and see what's coming up. And those also include links for virtual events and so forth, so you can watch and so forth. But Julie, I need to add your career because it's not on my calendar, so I need to get with you and make sure we get that added to this list. So again, so there's just a summary list of all the events coming up which you can participate in, and again, with that, Student Life has a couple of things. They've started initiating some video game tournaments and some karaoke, some fun things. So we're not all about, just hit the books, even though that, as important as that is, we want you to have a little stress relief too in your time because you need that. That's important. So we've got video game tournaments coming up, karaoke, and some other things Marisol, you might want to touch upon real quickly before we wrap up.
Those are the main ones. And then we're, like I said, we're starting to do more things virtually again. So kind of please join us in our Discord, and also we have a Twitch, Central_Texas_college if you are into Twitch. And so we'll start posting and more virtual events coming up, as well as a Discord. If you go to the new student orientation page, ctc.edu/NSO, you can access our Discord server through there, and you can see all the events and things that we've got going on in there. And it also has I added a bot feed for our Twitter. So if you don't know, try to maximize as much stuff as we can and share information in multiple ways.
And also the Student Lounge, I believe, is now open. Is that correct?
The Student Lounge is open. Yes, we are open in the from 1 to 5, Monday through Thursday. And then on Fridays, we're open 10 to 1:30. And we're trying, just so you know, I am looking for, if you're looking for a job and you're a student, please sign up. I'm looking for college ambassadors. I'm looking for student workers so that we can open the lounge the entire day. Those jobs are posted on the CTC employment page, as well as I know Julie's looking for tutors always. And there's a lot of student worker positions through financial aid as well. I believe that we're always looking for, if you're a financial aid student, there is a way that you can talk, and Pearl might be able to fill in that blank, but we're always looking for financial aid students. So if you need work, we have it. Just please come apply.
And if you need stress relief, visit the Student Lounge. They have video games, they have billiards, they have ping pong, and just study areas or quiet areas.
And I have a few clubs and organizations that they're having some events going on right now that I really wanted to, I know that Net Impact is in the process of getting they're collecting t-shirts, old t-shirts, so that they can collect. There's some bins out there, and I know that a few other clubs and organizations also have some other events, so please look at them. Look at it.
The Writers Guild is offering a fundraiser. It's a Mario's Brother, I think, or Smash Brothers video game tournament for $5.
Yes.
Paid at the library, and it's a fundraiser for them. So if you like playing video games, win prizes. $5 is a minimal entry fee, and you can win a big prize. So again, a lot of fun options for you as students here as well. So.
Hey, and if you're a student out there and you have taken the accounting class, and you want to tutor because you want to help your peers be successful in accounting, I am in desperate need of an accounting tutor. Come to the academic studio and see me. Let me tell you, we can help you out. We can hook you up, and you can help your peers.
Great.
Just a plug. I need it.
All shameless plugs are allowed. That's what this forum is all about. It's sharing information, getting answers to student questions, because students are always asking about jobs. Our Career Center will help you with the job. Our Work Study program will help you land a job. So there are opportunities here. So again, with everything that we've covered here, to Pearl, Eva, Dr. Reeves, Ms. Darkey, any last nuggets of wisdom for our students before we wrap this up?
Ask for help.
Ask questions.
I was waiting for
Ask.
somebody to come
We're
with
here.
that. So.
Okay, that's all I
Don't
have to say.
wait till the last minute. Don't wait. Please come see us now. You've got lots of time, and we have lots of time right now. Given a few weeks, I said we'll be bringing in all these FAFSAs. We're going to get really, really busy. So don't wait till the last minute.
Right. Well, let me just remind everyone that this session will be available on YouTube later today. So if you joined us late and there's some information that you might have missed, or you need to review any of this information that we covered today, it'll be available on YouTube later. We'll put the link out there on Facebook and Twitter, and then you can just click it and view any part of it. We'll have another Eagle Q&A coming up in April. As a matter of fact, it'll be April 27th, and this time we'll do it from 5 to 6 p.m. So we'll have updates from financial aid. We'll have any other updates or policy changes or anything that might affect you as a student that you have questions about. Join us then on April 27th from 5 to 6, and we'll give you more information or answer more of your questions and about all these topics and whatever topics that come to mind about CTC for you. So again, our bottom line is for you to be successful. And as everyone on this panel has said, the key to success is asking those questions that you're not sure about. And you'll always fail when you don't ask those questions and you just keep muddling along as you do. So ask those questions and we're here to answer them. So again, thank you all so much, Pearl, Eva, Angela, Julie, Marcelli, and thank you all. And join us again April 27th for the next Eagle Q&A, and take advantage of those links that we shared for the events and all those other items coming up that might be of interest to you. So again, thank you all so much, and we'll talk to you on the next Eagle Q&A. Have a great
Thanks,
day.
Bruce.